Welcome to the Daily Sports Content Economy podcast for Tuesday, January 27, 2026.
For today's deep dive, we've pulled insights from exactly 319 sources to really understand the major shifts happening.
And we should just jump straight into the headlines because they are big this morning.
They really are. We're seeing huge moves in a few key areas: legal liability, how fans engage with money, and what sponsorship even means anymore.
So let's start with the legal side.
Right. The New York Times is reporting that TikTok settled.
The big one, the addiction lawsuit.
That's the one. Settled just hours before jury selection in L.A., which, leaves Meta and YouTube to face that trial all by themselves.
Wow. Okay, and on the financial front, the Sports Business Journal is reporting the MLS is the first major soccer league to sign a prediction market sponsor.
Yep, with Polymarket. And at the same time, Sports Pro has confirmed that the NCAA is officially approving sponsor patches on Division I uniforms. That starts this August.
That is a huge new revenue stream.
Massive. And speaking of revenue, one last headline from the YouTube blog. CEO Neil Mohan revealed they've paid out over $100 billion to creators in just the last few years.
$100 billion. I mean, let's start there with the sheer volume of content that number represents. The Sports Business Journal is calling it the spike-a-night phenomenon.
Yeah, you have the Winter Olympics and the World Cup basically overlapping, so global streaming infrastructure is it's getting hammered every single night.
So the traditional broadcasters can't keep up.
They're buckling.
Yeah.
And the solution we're seeing is interesting. You just offload the feed. Sports Pro had a piece on how the Bundesliga in Germany,
Well, they do.
they awarded their live UK rights to individual creators.
You're kidding. Like, to a YouTuber.
Exactly. To people like Mark Goldbridge.
Yeah.
They're just bypassing the TV networks completely.
But doesn't that feel risky? I mean, from a brand safety perspective, if you just give the feed away.
You might think so, but what you lose in control, you gain in authenticity. And TechCrunch is reporting that YouTube is actually loosening its monetization rules on more sensitive topics.
So athletes can tell grittier, more personal stories without getting demonetized.
Precisely. But at the same time, look at Meta. CNBC reports Instagram Reels now make up over 50% of their ad inventory.
So you have this split, deep, authentic stories on YouTube, and then this high-velocity ad machine on Reels.
That's the ecosystem right now.
Let's talk about that velocity. Back to that MLS deal with Polymarket from the Sports Business Journal. How is a prediction market different from, all the sports betting sponsorships we already see?
It's a completely different mechanism, really.
Right.
Betting is, I hope my team wins.
Right.
A prediction market is more like, I think the probability of a goal in the next 5 minutes just went up, so I'm buying shares in that outcome.
So every fan becomes sort of day trader on the game itself.
You got it. And the SBJ also noted that another one, Kelce, is now the front-of-kit sponsor for the Baller League USA.
The creator-led league.
Yep. So you're creating a direct, real-time link between creator sports and financial trading.
That trading mindset seems to be bleeding into everything. We mentioned that Mercedes F1 deal from Black Book Motorsport. $60 million a year from Microsoft seems like a lot for a logo.
Because it's not for a logo. This is what we're calling infrastructure as sponsorship.
Okay, explain that.
Mercedes isn't just getting cash. They're buying Microsoft Azure's cloud capability.
Right.
In Formula One, there's a strict cost cap on what you can spend.
Right, to keep the field level.
So if Microsoft gives them $60 million in cloud computing credits to run AI race simulations, well, that's basically R&D budget that doesn't count against the cap.
It's a competitive loophole disguised as a marketing deal.
That's brilliant.
And this kind of money is finding its way to emerging sports, too.
Absolutely. The Economic Times reports the World Pickleball League just signed a streaming deal with Sony Live in India. And World Lacrosse announced Nissan Foods, the noodle company, as the title sponsor for the Women's Championship in Tokyo.
It's global, but you're saying the real shift is happening earlier in the pipeline.
That's where the smart money is going.
Yeah.
PR Newswire highlighted an investment by Brightspeed into youth sports leagues. And YouGov has data that shows sponsoring youth sports is actually more effective at reaching parents than sponsoring pro sports.
And now the high schoolers are getting paid directly. The Detroit Free Press says Michigan just approved NIL for high school athletes.
Combine that with the Sports Pro report on NCAA jersey patches, which could be a $100 million stream. And you can see the whole timeline is shifting.
So the professional sports economy now effectively starts when a kid is, 15?
It does. Brands are realizing it's cheaper to lock in that brand loyalty in high school than it is to sign a rookie NBA player.
So, to sum it up, we're going from passive viewing to active prediction.
Right. And brands are buying infrastructure and youth pipelines instead of just TV ad spots.
It's a fundamental change.
It is. But I'll leave you with one final thought, and it goes back to that New York Times headline, the addiction trial. Al Jazeera had a great piece on this. If the courts legally force these platforms to change their design to be less addictive, what happens to the value of a sports highlight?
The value would plummet overnight.
Exactly. The leagues are paying billions for engagement that might, legally, have to become less engaging.
That is the real gamble. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Daily Sports Content Economy Podcast. If you're ready to build your content media empire, we should probably talk. Visit rootgroupmarketing.com. Thanks for watching and listening.